And what we found out is the asset holders, which we, derogatorily call the labels, as in better label than never. Well, you know what those idiots are doing. It comes back to the old shack. Gotta get back to my little grass shack in Lukamakutuk, Hawaii. And we take it back to them old cotton fields back home. Yeah, going to the... Well, what happened out there? Well, it's still going on. Back where you have people close to the Bronze Age, and they're out in the fields. Now the Bronze Age, what happened is, as people went through these ages, they began to depart from the closeness to the land, which is not land, it's like the universe. But they already were divorced. There was not one primitive society that wasn't messed up, but not as badly as people got when they began to quote unquote advance. Sure, they got certain advantages, but they went from assholes to asset holders. It looked like they were progressing, but they were digressing with a minimum of progress, you know. That's one of the gress words, like congress, right? Progress, regress, digress, ingress, congress, you name it. You know, where there's a Senate, there's a Caesar. You know, that's also a Cassius. All right. Well, anyway, so what happened is out there, the agriculture guys, which goes back probably 6,000 years, when people began to aberrate, they began to get into different things. One was the agriculture, the other was the music, and then the third was the worker of metal. Basically, yeah, the Iron Age, the forge. So, you see, these things work in opposites. The ultimate blasphemy. A person is saying, he thinks, therefore he is God. It's like, no, sir, that ain't the way. It's like, you're insane, therefore you think you are God. Now, you're created in the image of God, but, cogit ergo sum. The I am is not you. I remember when I got stuck in having to get out of the mission field for a while and come back and work in retail. And there was this sort of demonic guy who was my customer. And I said, I think. He says, I think, therefore. And I say, I think, therefore I work the 9 to 5. I wasn't going to blaspheme. He got so pissed off because he realized it. You should have seen him blow his cork. You see the rise I got out of that guy. Anyway, I've already used up 4 minutes of my little 10-minute to-be time here. And let's get to the point. Okay. Now, the devil was created with musical instruments embedded in his body. You mean you weren't created with musical instruments and musical instruments in your body? Huh? Try singing. Do, re, mi. Oh yeah, that's the European scale. How about a little bit something more Stone Age, more esoteric? Hey, 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 hey. Yeah, I can't do it right because, I still got the genes of the aberrated West, the Iron Age stooges. I mean, it's like I understand you're proud of, where you come from, your roots and everything, but you got to realize, no matter who you are, everything is kind of pathetic. It sort of went downhill. Instead of the ongoing creation of God, they became the aberrated ruination of the devules. Now, the devil thinks that he needs music for worship. And he wants to impersonate God. He wants to be God, just like his little minions have impersonated deities throughout the ages. People really actually think they're getting through to some of these Roman and pagan deities. In fact, those are demons impersonating those deities. So, if a local priestess of some practicant belief system thinks that she becomes Diana the Huntress, she's really getting demon possessed. I hate to tell you, I hate to want to break the news to you, but anyway, this is getting pretty steep. Now, I worked in the military-industrial complex, Millind, and for a little while, and I was an information specialist. We were trained to find out stuff. This is more like not intel. This is more like what intel really should be looking for: investigative journalism. And I've got like 2.5 minutes to tell you this. I found out that these guys were working on a series of special weapons. Now, radar itself was once a black weapon. Now I found out the classical black weapon, rock and roll, rock and roll. Does that shock you? They used it successfully against Noriega. They used a certain form of it, experimental, I think, against the Branch Davidians. They used it in the first and second Gulf Wars. And, the thing is, it took the Shemitic people, in this case the North Koreans, to find out during the Korean War. Now, this is a stretch. I'm reaching for what little information I have. They were not succeeding in their brainwashing program until they realized, I think it was they decided they would try to entertain the troops, good guy, bad guy. And so they were playing, 50s style rock and roll, which goes back to the old Cotton Fields Back Home type thing where people in the fields were trying to sing. Now, this is where classical music comes in, because the classics, some of the soupy classics that people hate so much because it's really just nothing but repetition in there. The composers used to take sojourns out to the countryside where they would steal the music from the locals. But the North Koreans found out that the bass in rock and roll actually breaks down the mind. And this is the black weapon. Used today. The bass gets through walls, permeates, goes farther beyond the rest of the music, and it begins to destroy your mind. And a disabled person is a better impulse buyer. So, commerce